That is a hell of an opening if I ever saw one. All right, Demon Phil here from the DemoNation. We are here with hell of a show. We're getting ready to do this thing. Hey, you already know, if you've been here before, I need to see in the comments you can see and hear me. And we're going to get this thing started here shortly. Let's get some shares out there. Absolutely. We are pumped up, ready, and excited for tonight. Scott, thank you for being here. Tom, welcome to the show. Let me know if you can see and hear me. I'd appreciate that. And let's get those shares out there and get this bad boy rolling. Like I said, I am excited and warmed up for this one. Very much pun intended, since I had the fire beginning on there. Love that thing. So we're going to give this just a moment here. Scott, thank you very much. And then I'll be bringing my guest out here in just a moment. Hopefully everybody's had a great day, been very productive in what they've been doing. I know I worked on a few things on here, and actually the show is booked out until the beginning of November now. That is amazing. Thank you very much for everyone being a part of the DemoNation. We are booked until the beginning of November with some amazing guests, and we're starting tonight as well. So we'll be getting ready to do this in about another minute. Just go ahead and get some few more shares out there, and we'll be getting going. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the beginning intro on there. That's actually done by Meredith Loughran. From Geek Insider. She went ahead and made that up for me, so I definitely appreciate Meredith for doing that. And then we are working on some new videos to go ahead and add to the content as well. Just trying to keep it exciting and interesting and entertaining for all of y'all. All right, so without further ado, let me go ahead and get this ready up here. We are ready. Demon Phil's hell of a show. We are here with another hell of a show again tonight. And before we get started with my guest, I want to start with my sponsors. First and foremost, we have Totally Rad Comics, which is Jim E. Noble, which has Totally Rad Adventures of Zira, which is in its last hours on Indiegogo right now. So if you haven't gotten a hold of that one, go over there, take a look at it, see what you want to go ahead and get, and make sure you support it. So even if you're not financially able to do anything with it, use the power of that finger, hit that share button. Codex Entertainment, which is Luis Torres. Right now, he doesn't have anything going on with the company just now, but he finished up with Lily the Demoness #4 on Kickstarter, I believe, last month, and did very well. So we're looking forward to the next one with him. Third Empire. Third Empire has got one title out right now, which is Mojo Rising from Outlaw Studios. And go over and look at the Kickstarter, see what's going on with that one. I believe it has got 6 days left, if I'm not mistaken. So if you haven't backed that one, go look into that one. 183 Degree Studio, which is Kara Nicole Alfred Trujillo. Right now they don't have anything going on, but the Fire Bitch 2 will be coming out, I believe they said now, in late October. They're waiting to go ahead and put that out because they have their calendar will be coming out in next month, which is great. I'm looking forward to that one as well. Naughty Fairies, which is Wendy Steen Shaner. Wendy Steen Shaner is actually not only with Naughty Fairies, but she is a part of this right up here that you see, ClickCon 2020. That would be Wendy Steen Shaner, Tom Hutchison, and CB Zane are running the online con, which is ClickCon 2020, September 12th, which is coming up. You don't want to miss that. That's 30 days of fun-filled excitement that you never know what's going to happen until it actually hits you in the face with that. So get ready. And then finally, we have Pantsless Pizza. If you don't know enough about Pantsless Pizza, we do have some amazing reveals that will be coming up with that one in about a month. And yes, I finally put a time frame on it. In about a month, we will have some reveals to Pantsless Pizza. And no, it's not just me standing up. So that being said, here we go with our guest. Tonight we have a guest in here who has a current Kickstarter that's going on that's in its last 4 days that has done very well. And I want to go ahead and give him the floor to go ahead and talk about this. And then we're going to go ahead and find out more about him, what he's doing with the crowdfunding, and the comic itself. So let me go ahead and introduce JT Molloy.
Oh, God. How's it going, Phil?
Welcome to the show, JT. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate being here. Thanks for having me. That intro was awesome, by the way.
I did see you back there in the back just jamming away to it. So I was like, actually, I think he likes that.
I'm a rocker. What can I say? But that, oh my God, that art of you surrounded by the women. That is you, right? Yeah. It makes,
that would be, yes.
It makes you look like the satanic version of the Dos Equis most interesting man in the world or something. That's pretty awesome.
I can neither confirm nor deny said statement. Yes. So before we go ahead and get started into all of the Gestapo questioning that I always do on here, because I don't know if you're aware that we always do this, there's going to be a light in your face and some form of mild torture. It's okay. Just you're prepared. Before we get started into all that, can you go ahead and let anybody know who doesn't know who you are, what you are, and where to find you?
Who he is and how he became to be. Isn't that the Batman? Isn't that his thing? Yeah, I poured a couple of science type things and lifted some weights like Batman's origin. No, I am JT Molloy, as you can see right there. And I have a comic book called The Sapphire Spectre. And it is on Kickstarter currently. And we met our goal of 2,000 in like 20 minutes, something like that, 24 minutes, I think it was. And currently sitting at over 11,000. And I'm like blown away by the response. It's really, really cool. And Sapphire Spectre is a character I've been working on for a number of years now, but I'm finally kind of jumping out of the shadows and making my mark through Kickstarter. And I've kind of stuck my pinky toe into the indie comic scene a lot more in the last 5 years. So I've technically been doing it for like almost a decade, but yeah, so I haven't really kind of come out till now, so it's really fun. It's cool.
That is very cool. And we have got, we are joined also by Lisa Malone is in here, Dan Stockwell, and we also have Dustin Stab in here, which went ahead and said, JT is one of my favorite people in the world, and Sapphire Spectre is an amazing product.
Thank you, Dustin. I met Dustin in person at C2E2. He's an awesome guy. He's just so enthusiastic about comics, and it's great.
Very cool. And Dustin, I absolutely love that profile picture on there. We're going to be talking about that here very shortly. So we're going to get into Sapphire Spectre because everybody's excited to do that and everything, but I want to kind of get to know, I want to delve into your mind a little bit. I know kind of that can be a dangerous place at times. We have the drill ready in the back, so I'm going to make this as painless as possible. Trust me, I'm a doctor, ish. So what comics influenced you in growing up and getting into the industry?
I had a number of comics as a kid. Like I'm 38, so like I was a younger kid in the early 90s and older kid in the late 90s. So it was like in the early 90s, I was into like, I had a little bit of Batman, a little bit of Sonic the Hedgehog here and there, stuff like that. And I've always been drawing little comics like where Sonic the Hedgehog met Mega Man and stuff like that, which finally happened, by the way. And but I didn't really zone in on comics as like a hobby. I didn't become a comic geek until I remember the number, it was Uncanny X-Men 328. That was where Joe Madureira was drawing at the time. Scott Lobdell was writing, I believe, and it was like the issue where Psylocke fought Sabretooth, and Sabretooth went nuts in the danger room because like Professor X was trying to get into his head, and like he mauled her at the end and stuff like that. And it's like at that point I'd only seen a few episodes of the X-Men cartoon on Fox, which was really cool. But then I read that and I was like, whoa, like the art like just blew my mind. I sat there and I just tried to draw just like Joe Mad and all that stuff. And like it like very soon after became a huge Spider-Man fan. It's funny, like I came into Spider-Man during the Clone Saga, which is like, that's like one of the most reviled eras, but I have such a nostalgia for it. But so right around that like mid to late 90s kind of era of comics is what got me into comics. And then I started jumping into like more indie stuff. Like I read Spawn, of course, and stuff like that. And then like it was really Witchblade and Fathom that really influenced me to kind of want to do this kind of stuff. So I would say like the biggest two early influences were like the Top Cow stuff, like or then it was Image turning into Top Cow, I guess. It was like Michael Turner was like a huge influence. Yeah, a lot of artists that were popular, and then of course I backtracked and all that stuff. I became a big John Byrne fan and like all that. So it's been a lot of artists have influenced me over the years, and definitely Witchblade and Fathom, because it's like when I read those, I felt like I was reading a movie. You know what I mean? Like I was like, when that Nottingham guy like jumps with the sword and kills the guy straight through a car, I I was like, whoa, that is like the most cinematic, crazy looking thing I've ever seen in the comic, you know? So it's like a lot of people a little bit older than me were into like the whole Watchmen stuff. And I'm like, like I got into that later, of course, like it's cool and everything, but like that, like femme fatale, like badass girl kind of stuff is what really drew me into, you know, like the indie comic scene at the time. So it's like I was a huge J. Scott Campbell fan, still am, from Gen 13. And like even I remember the first time I saw his art was Star Wars Galaxy magazine that had like a picture of the Empire Strikes Back on the cover. I was like, whoa, it's Star Wars, but it's like drawn like a comic. Like it blew my mind. I got into Gen 13 right after, and then Danger Girl and all that stuff. So I really kind of just like rode that wave of like attractive woman ass kicker people, you know? I was really into Tomb Raider, both the video games and the comics and stuff like that. So that's kind of what like slowly made me want to just do like it was down the line. It wasn't until like 2010 or something where I like drew a picture of a girl that was a ghost. And I was like, okay, well, why is she a ghost? Like, is she dead all the time? And I'm like, no, what if she could die and then become a ghost and then unbecome a ghost, you know? So like that kind of started it for me. And then like I drew a page of like a 18-year-old girl laying dead on the floor, like bleeding, which is in the first graphic novel, which is only on Comixology right now, but I'm gonna eventually like kickstart a graphic novel, big collection book of like it's gonna be kind of like a prequel in a way. Nice. So I drew this dead girl and like had a demon slash ghost. It's like a demon a ghost that absorbed demonic energy, became this all-powerful entity. He looks like Al Capone, but with like red eyes and stuff. Like he looks like something you'd see in sleep paralysis, you know, like that's kind of where I drew the inspiration from. And it's like, that was like her tragic origin. She got killed and so did her family, but she came back to life. Her family stayed dead. So now she lives with her best friend in the city, and she has the power to, from like an unknown force, I show like kind of like a white light like cast down on her, as if like either the universe or God, whatever you want to believe, like is telling her to go on this crusade and like close the gap between the spiritual world and the regular world, so that like ghost murders don't become like a more common thing, which like, because like her murder kind of opened up the two worlds. So like they were like it's like a little more flimsy now, so kind of ghosts are like more of a common thing, you know. So yeah, that's the timeline of influence leading to that, I guess.
Oh yeah, and the concept of Sapphire Spectre, it drew me in right off the bat, with the exception, of course, of, you know, the whole killing the demons, because, you know, you don't kill all the demons. You want to leave some of them alive.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, Demon Phil will be spared.
Hey, oh, spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Because, like the intro graphic shows, he has a way with ladies, so Sylvia will probably not be able to resist your charms, and
so you do write fiction. No, I mean it is. It's got a lot of elements to it that really grab you and get your attention, but it holds your attention. I was actually able to go ahead and read it with, you know, you sent it to me as far as the digital, to go ahead and take a look at it and see what I thought. And it is one of those that is an absolute page turner, even though it's digital, but it's a page turner that you don't want to stop. If I can go ahead and just go into kind of a review, if you don't mind, I'm not going to do any spoilers, because I will not do spoilers.
No, of course.
So as far as the artwork, what you've seen on the campaign itself, and we're going to show that off here in just a moment, the artwork that you see on there doesn't do justice to what you see in the story itself. It is absolutely above and beyond amazing. There is stuff that we can't show in the story because it gives too much, and it will be spoilers. That's why that's not on the campaign. Definitely want to grab a hold to this. If you're a person who really enjoys artwork and really enjoys the fluidness of the artwork working together on telling the story, even without the lettering, that's what gets me, is you could actually have this unlettered and I could follow along with exactly what's going on with there. Now, that being said, the dialogue, that's always incredibly important, because whenever you're dealing with it, you've got all this great art, you've got everything set up in the panels and ready to go. Does the dialogue keep up with it? it gives just enough of a comedic appearance on there in the dialogue to get your interest going on there, but not enough to overshadow what's going on. So I don't
Thank
know
you.
how to classify the comic.
That is the tone I dance with. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
and that's the thing, is I don't have an actual classification for the comic. I can't say if it's comedic or if it's sci-fi action adventure. It's kind of a compilation of all of it together,
mm-hmm.
which is done very well, because usually it's got a definitive line somewhere in there, and it's got an extra element of something. And yours actually has all of this kind of intertwined together, and it works perfectly. So as far as I'm concerned, you've got the Demon seal of approval on this, and everyone else needs to jump on board. That's just all there is to it. But I'm not going to cut it that short and just do a short show tonight. We're actually going to talk a little bit more about this, and we just had a ton more people come in here. Perry Con, thank you for being here. David Fott, thank you for coming in. Oh boy, Russell Allen's here. I'm in trouble in the comments now.
The pantsless one is in his house.
Yes, exactly. And Luis Torres is in here. Luis, we talked about you earlier. Actually, I did. It was JT. Kylie Knight is in here. Thank you for being here. So yeah, we got a bunch of people in. So we've got the project going on. You're over $11,000 into it, and if I'm not mistaken, you were sitting at 219 backers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go ahead and do a share screen on this so we can kind of show this off just a little bit. There we go. So fully funded, like you said, I believe it was like 24 minutes. It wasn't long at all, and you were fully funded with the $2,000 on there, which is phenomenal, that you automatically get that jump start right from the beginning. The campaign itself, whenever you start scrolling through, you see that it's set up basically like, most of your other campaigns. It's got the information on there. It's got the news and all that's on there. And then it goes straight into the artwork. It goes straight into the meat of what's going on. Kara Nicole did a cosplay cover for you, which was amazing looking.
Mm-hmm.
She's also got a print, if I'm not mistaken, too, correct?
Oh, yeah. She's got 2 covers and a print.
Okay.
And a character card. The print and the character card, I believe both of them have been unlocked for maybe one of them is expansion. I forget. But yeah, no, there's going to be plenty of Kara Nicole coming your way, which is awesome. Can never get enough of her.
So it's not like you have dozens and dozens of variant covers and everything on here, but you have some amazing looking covers. You've done a couple of them on here as well. You've also got Hannah Blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I should probably do the shout outs to the guest artist. Hannah Blue is an amazing artist who I've been becoming friends with on Instagram for a good 2 years now, and we're both punk rockers. She is very into the punk rock scene and does a lot of art for it. She has done album covers, most recently for a band called the Mahonies, I think, and she's been doing flyer art and poster art for Teenage Bottle Rocket and stuff like that. That's a big name if you know your punk rock. And she's just got a really cool style. And if you really get up in there, you can see the crazy detail that's in her coloring and stuff. She's really, really cool. And definitely follow her on Instagram, Hanarchy Design. And next is the amazing, I got to sing his jingle. I got to do it. It gets stuck in my head every other minute. Alfred Trujillo, Alfred Trujillo, Alfred Trujillo, doobie-doobie-doo. Because, he had that jingle made for him. I edited his video, his artist video, because I do video work too. That's what I do for my 9 to 5. And he had me do that. So I heard that song 50 times in a row, and now I'll just be in the shower or something, and something, Alfred Trujillo, God damn it, you know what I mean? It just gets stuck in my head so easy. But anyway, he drew that. Kara Nicole colored it, and it is so badass. The kind of stuff he's been doing. I gotta get him to sign some kind of agreement that says he did not come up with her S blades being transparent like that, so that I can credit it as my idea, because that's an amazing idea he had. Because I'd always draw them as solid. He kind of drew them like they're opaque glass or something. That's really awesome. That is Travis Darling. He is a member of Cold War Inc. I was in Cold War Inc. for a good long time before I focused on other things. And Cold War Inc. is run by Ashley Witter and Ash Mazgo. And they do Fight Your Friends, Lady Death card game coming out. Travis Starling does a lot of artwork for them, and he's part of it. And he's a buddy of mine, and like we have met in person too. Always wanted to see him draw this character because his art style is amazing, and like I believe a lot of people have gotten that cover because that's just badass. I love seeing how everybody interprets. I do all those little wispy things you see, like like always coming off her, like it's like ghost energy and stuff. Like
Right.
it would almost kind of look like a fire in the wind or something. Like if it was like to be like IRL, I guess. So I love seeing how people interpret that energy because it's like all three of them did it in a different way, and it was pretty cool.
Exactly.
That's my homage to Bad Religion's Suffer, which is one of my all-time favorite records. So that was cool. That was actually supposed to be in Fight Your Friends, the card game, but I was like, okay, I'm going to be in a card game. I should draw something really cool. And I like overdid it, like so overshot it. So I'm like, wow, there's way too much going on here, but this works as a cover. So I wanted that up there for like the kind of people who love that, just like action pose kind of thing,
Very cool.
Then there's the first of Kara's covers. That's like the action pose one. That is awesome. Like, so I wanted like a action posy one, and then something that's a little more PG-13 for the older folk, which would be that one, which is awesome.
Hey, young whippersnappers.
What's that?
Hey, young whippersnappers, and read whatever you want to.
Exactly. Yeah, if you look at the Alfred Trujillo. Edited those photos too, and I did a little bit of post editing too. But like, if you really get in there, you can see he like again made those weapons like transparent. Oh, by the way, shout out to Matthew Cummings. He's a friend of mine who, when I made a short film based on the character that you can see on kickerrock.com or just search for it on YouTube, he actually. I said, hey, can somebody tell me how to make this weapon, like out of cardboard or whatever? And he's like, dude, I weld, I do stuff like that. I can make that. So I drew a picture of his wife as Batgirl on a sketch cover, and that was like payment for him to he made it out of like an old pizza tray or something that's like this like hard plastic or whatever. So he made me that weapon, and then I spray painted it blue myself and everything. So I sent Alfred and Kara the weapon, which is cool because I like having the thing around. It's pretty fun.
Very cool. So you didn't have to sign like waivers for the USPS or anything to send a weapon through like that?
I don't think so. It's not actually. It is kind of sharp, but I don't know.
So this is some of the interiors that we've got now. So you've seen the outside, and for many of you who don't know, there's actually, if you open up the covers, there's a story inside. There's even more pictures, more art. That you can go ahead and read through. It's really cool. So don't just take it as just a cover that you go ahead and put up on the wall or whatever. You've actually got stuff in there. So that being said, the interior does every bit of justice to the exterior. So you're not getting something that you open up the interior and go, it was great on the outside and now it's really lacking. It actually, to me, this draws you in even more than some of the exteriors do.
Thank you. That's a huge compliment. Thank you very much. I'm not the greatest artist in the world. I'm not going to like talk myself up too much. Like, oh, I'm on the level of blah, blah, blah. But I am good at storytelling, like, and I really, really make a point of clarity over anything else. You know what I mean? Like I very meticulously place the word captions and balloons and stuff like that. Like, so that it has like a flow to it, you know what I mean? So that nobody's like, because the worst thing ever is like reading a comic and going, where am I going? You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, I definitely have like a flow to the art and the words that definitely I, want to make it so that even people who don't read comics a lot can not be lost. You know what I mean? Like,
and you can really tell, like with the action sequence that's on this one here, I wanted to bring up that it's not just a matter of how much blood and guts and all that kind of stuff you can throw out there. What got me was the laughing. It was just very Joker-esque.
Mm-hmm.
The blue lettering, which was great because you actually used the blue on there to show off it was basically her ghost energy that was coming out in physical form, which just was amazing how you did that.
Right. It was fun. I definitely wanted it to contrast it with the background and stuff and show kind of like the red background. It's kind of like the color of the demon's eyes. And just kind of like, that was a very ferocious moment where you're kind of like, whoa, she's a badass, but ooh, is she going too far? You know, like.
And then this is some of the inked material that was done on there before it was colored. And yeah, I mean, you can see all the detail in there. I love the inks. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah. What's funny is the main story, I didn't ink. I actually was shooting from the pencils, and I tried to like give it that colored pencil kind of vibe, like in post in Photoshop, you know. But I'm starting to ink my stuff again, and I'm starting to get a lot more enjoyment out of inking it. So the backup stories were actually inked, and that's one of them. And it's done being colored. It's not up there yet, but yeah.
Now, every campaign, you know, everybody wants swag. They're like, oh, we're looking for the stuff that we actually can unlock. It's not a matter of it's too many times it's called free stuff. It's not free. It's a matter of the fans and the followers working together to go ahead and get things backed and so much money in there to unlock certain things.
Mm-hmm.
You've unlocked quite a bit.
Oh, so much. Lisa Maloney has helped me out, like immeasurably helped me out during this whole thing. She's like I started it all, and then she kind of came in and said like, all right, here's what we need to do. And she kind of like outlined a few more things, because I've got artist brain, she's got business brain. And you know, that's like when the two come together, then that's when stuff starts happening. So she definitely helped me out with a whole lot of what we could do for the ever evolving expansions and stretch goals, because I mean, I didn't know I was going to do this well. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, it would be nice if I could get 3,000, and now I'm like, okay, I'm like on my way to 11. What the hell's going on? What do I come up with? You know, like trying to come up with more swag per minute. But
I told you before the show that my personal goal for you that I would like to see met is 13,000, just because I like the number 13. So you're close enough. I mean, you're at 11.2. 13,000, you've got 4 days left. I don't see why that should not be possible. And the DemoNation's over here watching right now, and we'll be watching later on as well. Everybody here knows, use the power of that finger, go hit the share button on there, but definitely support this thing. If you want to get a quality story, some great artwork, and an amazing first appearance book, because we're going to discuss and talk about that here in just a moment as well. But this is something you want to grab a hold of, because this is first appearance, and we all know how we like our first appearances and our first cameos. So this is definitely something you want to grab a hold of with that. And we are joined by Anastasia. Thank you for being here.
What's up, yo? She did a bitch in Elvira yesterday. I think.
Yeah, no kidding. She's going to be. She and Antonio are both going to be guests on here for a Halloween style special. Right before Halloween. So I'll be bringing that up, of course. I've still got a little bit of time to get that one worked up and all, but definitely getting them on. So with the stretch goals, it's not a matter of just throwing something out there. You can't just say, here's a baseball card, here's a stick of gum, here's a half-eaten Twizzler over here. You can't just do stretch goals that way. And I know if I just messed up your $12,000 one, a half-eaten stretch, Twizzler, I apologize, but you've got some good ones on here, and you've got some that have really gotten my attention because they're very unique to the campaign. That's what's important, is whenever you have a campaign like this, you want to have something that has your artwork and all on there, but you want to have something that's different. The first one that gets my attention, of course, is the buttons, because they look just like the weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And they have that look to them. I mean, it's just a very cool thing that I would wear out in public, just have people go, what in the world is that? And I'd be like, let me tell you about this campaign and the next thing he's got going on. So it gives you that opportunity. But you've got the sticker pack is on here, and all of these are unlocked that I'm going through thus far. In fact, everything that's showing on here is completely unlocked, and there's going to be more that's going to be added on to here within the next day or two, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
The Kara Nicole trading card, because we all like trading cards.
That's going to be part of her series too. Like it's going to be made the same way that her other ones are. So if you're a collector of that stuff, that's going to be part of it.
And the bookmark, which looks really cool on there. Magnet, because we do love our magnets too. I mean, I've got a couple of them behind me on the safe. This one is one that got my attention. The keychain. I'm telling you right now, I don't have many keychain things on mine whatsoever. I will wear that in a heartbeat.
Nice. Yeah, that'd be fun. That's a really cool one. We're looking into some cool stuff for that. Digital comic, oh my God. I had so many people right away ask me, where's the digital? I'm like, oh my God, they're right. Oh, where did I put it? So I was just like, here you go. You already unlocked it. Everybody gets it.
You've got another character card on here, and which is great because you're building up more storyline with this, because this wasn't technically in the book. So this is something else that you can kind of interpret going into the other books, and we're going to be talking about that in just a moment.
Yeah, the character cards. I'm starting off with the main two characters. It's gonna be Sylvia and Melissa, her roommate, the one that's in the punk band, and then I'm gonna go from there. Like the other people in the band, like Sylvia's ex-boyfriend. You'll find out about that, and yeah, a lot of cool stuff.
Antonio D, thank you for being here. Says, I heard that JT fella is pretty rad.
Thanks, Anthony.
And Anastasia agreed with him for some reason about heard that as well. So at least there's some compliance, within that relationship.
You've been talking to
thing. No, thank y'all both for being here. I appreciate y'all being here for this. And so we've got 150 backers. You get the patch. I love having patches because I actually want to start doing some swag deals, whether it's going to be a backpack, anything. At least I've got some options. And we always want patches because we can keep adding to those kind of things.
Right.
But this one.
That's a fun one. That was a really fun one. The Splatter Skull bandana.
Yes.
So that's the insignia that she wears on her hoodie. A little bit of lore. Her brother gave her that hoodie for Christmas because her brother was like a little emo teenager or whatever before he got killed. And Sylvia was just like, oh, this thing he picked up from the mall is kind of lame or whatever. But like he gave it to her for Christmas, and then to honor him, she wears it every time she dies. So that's like her thing, like just to kind of remember her family and stuff. But that insignia, yeah. Oh, it's not going to be upside down on the top there, because I tried to explain this to somebody recently. It was like, if you fold it over and wear it as a bandana, it's got to be right side up. And if you fold it under and wear it as a face mask, it's got to be right side up. So both have to be right side up. That's been fixed. So that's cool.
Right. And that makes total sense. That's not an issue with that. But yeah, I mean, it looks great. Now, is it a full size bandana, just like a regular bandana?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it will be, definitely.
I may be sporting that on a couple of shows. You never know.
Nice.
As long as it doesn't mess up my hair, we're okay. So we have a comic size print by Alfred Trujillo.
That's so killer because it's he just kind of messaged me one day and he was just like, because he and I have been trading art a lot for the past couple months. So like he just kind of messaged me a few days ago recently and he was just like, hey dude, I've got a surprise for you. I'm like, what? What's the surprise? I want a pony. Give me a pony. But like he sent me that and I was like, dude, oh, that is so killer. Oh, the colors are killer too by oh man, I can't read that from here. But no, that's really cool.
Federico Pepito?
That's it. Yes. Yeah. I've never actually talked to or met that guy, but apparently his colors are awesome. So thank you very much. And yeah, it was just killer. It came out of nowhere. I was like, all right, this is going as a print. So thanks to Alfred for that.
Now, of course, stickers are great and everybody loves stickers and everything. I want to kind of talk about this here in just a moment because we're going to scroll further down here because I want to see the actual cover. And that's a little further down here. So we're going to earmark that one. But this is of course, ASM 300 swipe on here. But I want to talk about that whenever we get further down when you can see it better. At 200 backers, you get the Melissa character card. And I love the one that you chose to be on there is the one where she is like screaming mad up there in the band.
Right.
And it's a great moment to have on the card because it shows her emotion, which is pretty much inside of the entire story, which is great.
That character, if I could talk about her for just like 2 minutes, that's Melissa Kane. You know what's funny is like a long time ago on Facebook, I was actually like, hey, what should this character be called? And then my friend Melissa actually said, you should call her Melissa. And I'm like, you know what? That's not bad. So her first name's Melissa after my friend Melissa, and then Kane because at the time Chicago Blackhawks were doing really well, and Patrick Kane was one of the star players. So I just attached that to that, and so it's like Melissa Kane is like a little just manic pixie, not dream girl but psycho girl, punk rock girl. Like she is based off like so many people I've met in my life, like physically after my friend Nicole and my friend Kara both. Like, Not Kara Nicole. That's funny. But my friend Nicole and my friend Kara, who are two different people. They both are kind of like street punks, you know, and they have that like every punk girl I've ever grown up with that will like you know, like if a guy tries to talk shit to her, like they'll pull a knife on them, you know, because they're insane. Like that's that girl, you know. I really, really wanted to base her, like make this character like an outlet for some of my crazy, you know, and some of the crazy I've known in my life. Like, so it's like Sylvia's the straight man, you know, the straight woman. She is kind of like the person that the audience can latch onto. And like the crazy best friend is Melissa. And like, it's so much more fun to write her sometimes because like you saw in the first issue, like she's like drunk in their apartment with a spray painted target on the wall, shooting a bow and arrow at the wall. And Sylvia's sitting there with a drink going, we are so not getting our deposit back. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I get to like do all the crazy pranks and the crazy, you know, victimless crimes that like punk rockers kind of do in their early 20s and like late teens and stuff, like, and attach it to this character. Like she's just so much fun to write and draw. And I make her 10 times more expressive and like pig faced than I do Sylvia. And I don't know, great character. I love writing her.
Now we're at the more to come on here. However, Antonio just brought up, he said, I nominate the next character name as Claire Monet.
Claire's not a bad name. I always like that name.
Sounds good.
Claude Monet.
So the expansion goals, a blank sketch cover, which is always great because whether you go ahead and do something on there, if they have another artist they want to go ahead and do on there, if you want to reach out to, I don't know, Antonio, Anastasia, Becky, who else do I have in here? Lewis, David Fott. I got so many people in here right now that could go ahead and do things on here. So you have options on there, which is great because you get your book inside and you get a totally different rendition of it on the outside, which is really cool to see sometimes because it's a different perspective that you can see as you open up the book. So I like that you have that on there.
Oh, is that a Screeching Weasel reference? Antonio just said that. Claire Monet.
Oh, okay.
God, they've got so many albums. I love Screeching Weasel. I hate Ben Weasel. I'm just going to say it. I just do. I don't like that guy. But love Screeching Weasel.
So the Kara Nicole holofoil print is available for $20 as an add-on on there, which is a great deal to have on there because it is a cover-sized holofoil.
Yes. And that's another one. If you get in close there, you can see the transparency on the weapon, which is really cool. I don't know how Alfred was editing that so well. It just turned out really awesome.
Now here we have the Spider-Man 300 homage cover that I wanted to talk about because the 300 swipe has been done 227 million times, and everybody knows that. And everybody kind of gets tired of seeing the same thing unless you throw in a unique turn on there. You did so because I'm going to go ahead and point out the first time I looked at this, I was like, what is 551? And I didn't really pay attention until you actually, if you can, I can't make it any bigger, unfortunately, y'all. But if you look at this or go to the Kickstarter and look at it, by all means, go to the Kickstarter and look at it. That's not a 551. That's her weapon doubled up on there with a 1. It looks badass. I love the way this was done and the way that it was set up on here because that makes it unique to the storyline and a 300 swipe that I never would have thought of for this thing.
That is
something
funny. Is that I didn't want to do that homage.
Really?
I was against it just because it's been done so much. It's been done to death, but like, no pun intended. But like this time, it was like I was kind of pressured into it, and then after a while, I was like, you know what? I love Spider-Man. I'm an Amazing Spider-Man fan. And what's funny is that day. Okay, so I have like amazing. I'm a comic collector, but I only like hardcore collect. I'm more of a reader than a collector, but I'm a hardcore collector only for Amazing Spider-Man. So I've got like Gwen's death onward, you know, like missing the Punisher, but I was missing 300. So that was the one little gap of like in a row of 700. So when I went to draw that homage cover, I always like to draw when I'm going out and having coffee and in public and stuff. I don't know. I'm a weird like extrovert artist or something. I don't know, it's weird. But like, I need to be around people. I need to be outside. I love it. I just love, the atmosphere and just chilling, listening to music and having my cup of coffee. So I went out to do that in the city. And I was also going comic shopping that day. And I finally found a 300 for a decent price the day I was going to draw that. So I was like, this is like a sign. Like, I have to get this, So like I bought Amazing Spider-Man 300. And like I had it next to me at Starbucks, just sitting next to me and my artboard to work off of as reference. So it's like I was literally looking at the real comic while I drew it. You know what I mean? It's like slightly smaller than the artboards, so it's like I got it. But yeah, it was actually really kind of cool.
That, to me, I'm sorry, but it's just the way, because, by being a collector and everything, an ASM 300 out in public for one thing just scares the hell out of me. I know, right? You mentioned that you're at a coffee shop or something, and I'm like, oh God, no. I can just see all kinds of Final Destination moments happening to that particular cover, and it's like, oh no, please no.
It was still in the Mylar.
But the swipe worked. I mean, that's the thing, is even though you didn't want to do it and everything, you came up with a different way of putting your passion for this story and for the character and everything on the cover to where the actual swipe worked, because it's something that is unique to it that has not been done in any of the other 227 million swipes that are out there.
Yeah, what's funny is, like, I mean, like I said, I it's been a years of evolution of me drawing like the wispy energy that comes off of Sapphire Spectre, and like it sometimes like kind of twirls and twists and contorts in a way that almost kind of looks like Todd McFarlane's spaghetti webbing, So it's like when I draw Spider-Man, and I draw him a lot, like him and Black Cat, like are just two of my favorite characters to draw. But I end up drawing the webbing like in a very exaggerated. It almost looks like Todd McFarlane's webbing was left, like if it's spaghetti webbing, it was like left in the pot too long. Like it's even more expansive than that. So it's kind of like I was like, oh, since I do that anyway, I could like make the webbing into like the wispy stuff coming off her. So it's like wherever Spider-Man's webbing is on 300, I drew like the wispy stuff coming off her. Because sometimes people who do the homage like forget the webbing part, and also forget the background sometimes. But I, made the wispy stuff, the webbing, and I swapped out New York for Chicago. So
very cool, very cool. Now, we've kind of gone through the campaign here, and you just got a new backer and got bumped up quite a bit. So that just happened. Good.
Yay.
If you're watching the show and did that, thank you very much, because I want to bring up something right now. I don't do things for myself on the show. It's always about my guest. So I want to make something about the guest based on something for me, if that sounds kind of odd. Tomorrow is my birthday. This week is all about my birthday wish. If anybody hasn't seen that yet, my birthday wish is to make sure that all of these creators on all these different Kickstarters and Indiegogos that are going on, they see their dreams realized. So 4 days left on this thing. I want to see some more on this, if at all possible. What I would like to see at the very least at this moment, if you will, please, in each of the links at the very top, there is embedded up there the link, the direct link. So I made it very, very easy for you. So whether it be on my personal profile, whether it be on DemoNation, or even on the YouTube one down at the bottom, the link is right there. If you'll go ahead and click on see more, you'll see that. Please click on that, bring it up. I need everyone to share that out, please. Share it out right now and tag me and tag JT in there so that we can go ahead and be tagged in all of those that are going around. I want to see how many shares we can get out there and get this thing rotated around and get as much exposure as possible. 4 days left. I want to see 13,000 out of this thing, and I think it's very, very doable. That's my birthday wish. Very simple. I don't want stuff for me. I want to give back to the people that I'm working with. So
that is awesome and very selfless of you, and thank you.
No problem. But I mean, that being said, if everyone will kind of work on that one while we go ahead and move on with this, because what I want to go ahead and bring up now is you have some OAs that were available that were on there as well, some original art and everything. Are you actually working on, are you selling more of the original art, or are you doing open commissions or anything like that right now?
Yeah. I'm gonna start doing commission type stuff, and probably posting a little more OA to the my Store Envy page, like probably in a week or two. Like once I can start handling this again, because like everything's been Kickstarter lately. So, but yeah, I've always got plenty of blank covers sitting around, and I love drawing on those. They're just so fun, And I've done tons of commissions for tons of people, and it's never not boring to me. So it's cool.
Very cool. And that's something that you definitely want to, you've got a talent for doing it. So you definitely want to keep doing that and keep going with everybody that's working with you on there. Are you working on any other projects that you're working for someone else as well? Or are you doing just mainly for yours?
I just finished one last night for, I got to give a big shout out to my cousin, Kevin Folliard, Kevin M. Folliard, Folliard. Because like, remember I talked about like X-Men 328 and stuff like that, like way back in the junior high days. It's like, he was there with me, you know what I mean? Like he's been like among my like best friends, like MySpace top 8, if you will, for like ever. And like he and I are just total comic nerds together. We always talk about Marvel and DC together. We're huge Batman nerds. We're huge Fantastic Four nerds, all that stuff. And he has always been into like Stephen King and all that stuff. So he writes prose books, mostly for young adult, but this newest one he's doing is for adults only. And it's like, those like old, like scary stories to tell in the dark and stuff like that. It's like he does that kind of thing. And I always do the illustrations for him. So it's like I draw his covers and sometimes the interior like chapter art, like a screaming pumpkin or like a skeleton knocking at your door or like a creepy Santa Claus, that kind of stuff. So like I just did one for his newest book yesterday, The Misery King, The Misery King's Closet. If you just go to my Facebook page, you can find the art I did for that. So that was really cool. He was over playing Mega Man while I was sitting there with my art tablet drawing it to his liking. So that's the most recent thing I did for someone else. And then I also did a cover for Fire Bitch 2, which is coming out quite soon. I did 2 pieces for that. One of them is going to end up being a cover. I think another is going to be something else, but I don't know what yet. So yeah.
That is very cool because Fire Bitch 2, if I'm not mistaken, it was going to be the end of this month. They decided to go ahead and go with October, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really? Okay. Gotcha.
Because they're trying to get the calendar out first, which makes sense because they barely made the calendar out last year. And they want to go ahead and make sure that everybody's got enough time to enjoy the calendar before it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody wants to remember 2020. We'd rather move on to 2021.
Right.
So I'm bringing up, I've actually got your picture of what you worked on, the Misery King Closet, because I enjoyed this one whenever I saw you bring this up on your page. Let me bring this up here. There it is.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I mean, it's really cool because you see what you've done in Sapphire Spectre, and this is like a whole different way of drawing of the, and creating the image on the front of this one, but it draws you into what you're getting involved in. It's a horror anthology that's on here, and you presented that right at the beginning. I love the eyes in the background and the creepy claws up front because you don't see enough of it, but it's enough where it gets you interested and wants you to go ahead and jump on this and see what's going on.
Exactly. And my cousin read the story to me. This is what he does a lot of times, is he reads the story aloud to me. And then I come up with some fucked up imagery in my head, and can I say fuck on here? Anyway, and then I start drawing it, and then kind of like show it to him, and he's like, "Oh, dude, that's awesome!" And like he's got a little bit of drawing skills too, so sometimes he'll actually draw kind of what he wants, and I'll just kind of like morph it into my style, So
very cool. And Antonio D says, "I heard JT is doing a cover for the Changeling soon."
Am I? I've been begging Antonio for a long time now to do that. I totally want to. I am 100% on board for that, dude.
Oh, sweet. Dan Stockwell. Phil, I did the Kickstarter. So he is actually your newest backer on there.
Woo-hoo. Thank you, Dan, very much.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Dan. Like I said, if we can make sure and get as many shares out there as possible to go ahead and make sure we've got everyone else is involved in this and getting a chance to go ahead and get on board as well. I am a backer as well. I don't know if everybody saw that on there or not. I can't physically, financially back every single thing that's out there, but this is one that I could not pass up. So I am on there as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It is definitely worth it. It is a very fun story. You're going to enjoy it. It's got a lot of elements to it. Very good, easy read. I told JT before the show, easily in my top 5 to 10 favorite comics right now. So that's saying a lot because there's a lot on the board that's out there, and I deal with a lot of people on some things, but he did a good job. So I'm going to give him kudos on that one.
Thank you very much.
Now, let me ask you, what do you have anybody that you have in mind that you would have a bucket list collaboration that you would like to work on something?
J. Scott Campbell. Me Ruffino. Oh my God.
That'd be nice.
With her. Yeah. Geez, who else? There's so many artists I respect in the industry. Oh God. I'm trying to think.
No, but those are two very good ones. I mean, you were very quick with J. Scott Campbell, but he's one of them that actually kind of influenced you from the very beginning anyway.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And,
that Star Wars Galaxy magazine from 1995 drew me right in, and then I got right into Gen 13. So,
right.
I wasn't jumping on some bandwagon or something. I hate to sound like a hipster, but I've been a J. Scott Campbell fan for 25 years.
And of course, Nei is Nei. I mean, of course.
Is it Nei? Okay, yeah. I've only ever, sometimes you read these names and you never actually say them out loud.
Well, every once in a while, I'm sure I'm saying some names incorrectly, but yeah, I've actually been on some of her shows and been in the audience with that and whatnot, and dealt with some things that she's doing in the Big Dog Inc. whenever she was working with that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's Nei, and yeah, you picked a good one in that. So, in today's times and everything, with current conditions and all, I always ask this one question, or I try to ask it at least most of the time with my guests. What's one of your favorite con moments that you've had?
Con moments. Man, some of the best ones happened at the last one I did. That's when I met Kara, was C2E2, just back in February. That was really fun to just talk shop with her a little bit that weekend. And I was with Cold War at the time and selling the Fight Your Friends card game, which Sapphire Spectre was in. And it's also where I became a little closer with Lisa, who was working with us too. And so that was really cool. There were some other fun moments. Oh, you know what? Okay, I got it. Totally remember. I did a Mortal Kombat convention 2 years ago. I'm a huge Mortal Kombat guy. It's probably one of my, it taught me how violence should look. When you see Sapphire Spectre chopping a ghost head off, that is like Johnny Cage or something, So it's I've been playing Mortal Kombat forever. I'm really good at it. Not in the esports competitive way, but probably the best out of anyone I know, that kind of thing. And I just love that series, have gotten every single game that has come out. And it's Galloping Ghost Arcade is right near me. It's a few, probably 10 miles from me or something. I'm in a south suburb called Oak Lawn, and they're in Brookfield. They sponsored a Mortal Kombat convention in a couple of hotel rooms put together, in Countryside 2 years ago. And or was it 3? I can't remember. Getting so old. But everybody that played the characters from the Mortal Kombat video games were there. So Daniel Pacina, Carlos Pacina, Elizabeth Malecki, all those guys and girls, everybody who played the live action, characters from the thing. So I showed up there with my little demo copies of Sapphire Spectre, sold a couple of them, and then I made 2 exclusive Mortal Kombat prints for it, one of Scorpion and Devora fighting, and one of Melina licking her side, with her creepy mouth and stuff. And people just ate it up. I was one of the only artists there, so it was just so much fun. I got to be around just so many Mortal Kombat people and stuff like that. And then there was an after party And I was like drunk with the cast of the game, you know. I'm like all these people who were like celebrities to me when I was 12, you know, like for suddenly I'm like, oh, I'm like in the drink line and I'm like half in the bag, and suddenly I see Ho Sung Pak behind me and I'm like, that's Liu Kang. What the Liu Kang's behind me for drinks, you know, like that's awesome. John Parrish, the guy who played Jax, was wrecked also, and like Anthony Marquez, the guy who plays Kung Lao, actually was in like a cover band at the after party, and they played like Bon Jovi and Kiss and stuff like that. Like, and he was dressed up as Kung Lao and had the hat on and everything. So it was like, I had a great day of selling stuff. I was like drunk with like the Galloping Ghost staff and like the cast of Mortal Kombat, and made like a cool bunch of new friends that day. So that was one of the coolest experiences of my life for sure.
Very cool. Antonio said our Mortal Kombat 2 machine is in mine and Anastasia's studio.
Nice. I have the mini one, like the one that you can buy at Costco or whatever, with all three of them on it, the first three.
Now, speaking of Mortal Kombat, you may want to go ahead and check out David Fott's, his artwork and everything, because he just did a couple of things where he was actually drawing actual people and doing them in Mortal Kombat form.
Really?
People that are actually in the comic world, which was interesting. So you want to take a look at that.
I follow him, and he was on the show on Sunday, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he was on Saturday. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I'll definitely check that out.
Remember, your first rule of unscripted: we don't talk about unscripted.
Right.
No, we had a lot of fun, and I definitely appreciate you being on, with that. And you were even telling me before the show too that you really enjoyed that and had a blast. It's a safe space for creative team members to come in there and just let their hair down.
Right.
Well, except for me, I can't let it down much more than it already is, but I do what I can.
And I am definitely not one of those self-serious comic book people. Like I'm such a jackass, and like that. I was very at home there with making my hand talk to everybody and wearing sunglasses and stuff.
No, it was a blast though, because it's good to go ahead and see creative team members go ahead and jump in and be themselves. They don't have to be the people that they always have to be in front of the spotlight. It gives them a chance to go ahead and do something different. So even with you having all of the stress and everything of the campaign you're working on, you got on there and actually had a blast, did what you wanted to do and had a blast doing so. Brian K. Morris was there and had to deal with the dinosaur up in his ear almost the entire time, which was great.
He had the Pez on too.
Well, he even messaged me about that too. He said he loved it. So yeah, you're in. And if you want another seat again, you definitely let me know. You're in. That's an easy one.
I'm going to want to. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. But on top of that, I mean, you've got a great campaign that you can see. It's not about putting something out there and going strictly ABC. And this is, reading the book of how to do a Kickstarter, for dummies, that kind of thing. You're not going through that kind of thing. You're putting your passion for what you do into your work, and it shows in everything that you're doing. And that's why you're hitting the numbers that you are and reaching out to the people that you are.
I definitely do it for the love, and I definitely want to make something that's really cool, because I do believe in this story and where it's going, and I love the character I've created, and I don't know, it's really fun.
And that's what I want to bring up now is, where does it go? This is not a one-shot. Hopefully, there's more to the story than just where it left off and everything, because it could have, but I'm hoping it's not. So are we looking at more issues of this coming out?
Oh, definitely. I've got the second one is done, colored, lettered, everything. The third one is drawn, half colored. The fourth one is being drawn right now. And then I've got 2 graphic novels that are already done. One of them's on Comixology. So if you are super curious about where she came from and all that stuff, you can find that on Comixology, the original graphic novel. But I'm going to eventually put there was like a trilogy of graphic novels I had planned. The third one's like half done. The second one's done. The first one's done. And so it was going to go like the trilogy of graphic novels, 1, 2, 3, and then the series goes on after that forever, So it's like issue 1 on Kickstarter right now, the special edition is the series. So that's going to go in its own direction, and you don't need to know too much about what happened before, but it's going to come into play later for sure, elements of the graphic novels. So in a prequel kind of sense, those are going to come out in a collection I'm going to kickstart eventually. And that's going to be like, it's going to feel like such a huge gamble, but that's kind of like her where she came from story. That's like her, if not origin story, it's like a lot of what shaped her as a character, you know. So eventually that's going to come out, and then you can read it all in order, and it's going to be like graphic novels, then comics, you know. So
very cool. I'm definitely looking forward to that. David Fott says, I'm back. Sorry. David, welcome back, because we were talking about you while you were gone.
Ears must have been burning.
Yeah, it was more JT talking about you, but it's okay. You can go back and rewatch this later on. But no, JT's actually going to be looking at your Mortal Kombat work that you just did. I told him he needed to take a look at that. So he is definitely going to be going over there and taking a look and seeing what you've got.
I'm a huge MK guy, so I'm stoked about that.
Very cool. So you've got the book, you know, where you've got several things lined out. You've got, you know, issue 2 is already ready to go. We're ready to pull the trigger on that whenever we get ready on that end. You've got these other ones lined up. What else is in the future for JT Molloy? What else do you have going on?
Outside of Sapphire Spectre, that is?
Right.
Well, I've also got kickarock.com, which I'm ditching them tonight to be here. I told them, I'm like, yeah, you get. No, I'm just playing. That would be Sergio Torres, Bill Miller, Tony Marino, and recently added as a full-time member is Laura Kowalski, who plays Sylvia in the video that's on the Kickstarter. So she's been like our star actress for a long time. We make short films together, and like mostly sketch comedy. We'll come up with a dumb idea at our meetings. We meet every Tuesday. We just come up with stuff like at Saturday Night Live kind of stuff. You know, it usually doesn't get like too raunchy or whatever. It's not like Trailer Park Boys or something, but like, not that there's anything wrong with that, to quote Seinfeld, but like we just come up with little sketch comedy ideas. We shoot them, we release them. They're usually like a minute long, but then we also enter the 48-hour film project every year, twice, usually once for Milwaukee and once for Chicago. We have won the 48-hour film project for best film 3 times for Chicago now. I think it was twice from Milwaukee, and or is it just once? Fuck. But like, and then like I always do the motion graphics, so I oftentimes win like for motion graphics and stuff like that. I've got a whole bunch of like little glass statues and stuff like sitting around. Yeah, I win awards, whatever. No, I'm just joking. But so kickarock.com is really fun, and that's also where you can find the short 8-minute film I did based on Sapphire Spectre. That's like a side story. You know, just kind of like a get to know her kind of story, like a one-off that you can check out. And like I did all the graphics for it, the motion graphics. It took 3 months to do. It took like a weekend to shoot and 3 months to do that. But yeah, so I'm always doing stuff with Kickarock. That's like kick a rock, like somebody is kicking a rock at you. Kickarock.com. So yeah, always doing stuff with them, and we've kind of like entered a new chapter of everything. We've just been reinvigorated because we started meeting in person again with masks for like the first time, because we haven't been meeting in person, obviously because of COVID, for like the past 6 or so months. But we're kind of like back at it, back making funny stuff. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Very cool. That sounds very interesting. And that 8-minute, it's like an 8-minute movie, like a mini movie type thing that you're talking about. And you can actually go to YouTube, type in Sapphire Spectre, and it'll come straight up at the top.
It'll pop up. It's called The Next Level. Yeah.
It's I think that's what got my interest in the very beginning, because it was just one of those things that I was scrolling through Facebook and it happened to show up there. I clicked on the link because I was like, what is this? And then I noticed what was going on. And then next thing I know, you have your campaign going, you know, a couple, 3 months later after I had seen that. And I was like, this is really cool. I really like how this came out with this, because even the 8-minute movie is just enough to get your interest sparked in it. And then what you did with the book just built up off of there, which again, if you're not on board with this thing, please go look at this thing, jump on there, see what's going on, and share it out and get the support out there for it, because we're hitting 13 grand. That's just, it's happening with it. we're definitely getting to that point.
Definitely. And I you know, like I needed to add another stretch goal tonight, tomorrow, something like that. But for the next one, I'm just going to do, just because of how much awesome support this has been getting and just how interested people seem and everything like that, I'm just going to do like, because instead of, I'm going to add a print, you know, a comic size print, but it's going to be a 1-page story. Like I've decided that's what I'm going to do next. So I've already got like I've got tons of ideas in my head. So, and some of them are just like little one and dones, get in and out, you know. So in a Sunday funny kind of way, you know, Calvin and Hobbes style. So I have like a 1-page story I'm going to do, and I'll just make that the next print, you know. So that'll be pretty cool. I almost do it tonight, and I sat down at Starbucks, got my coffee, got ready to go, put my headphones in. I'm out of comic boards. So I had to go to Michael's and like get a bunch of comic boards, and then they didn't have some. So I had to go to the other Michael's, and then they had some. So by the time I was done with that, I couldn't even draw. So I didn't even get anything done tonight, but yeah.
No, that is very cool. And you've got an amazing campaign that's going on here. Like I said, you've gotten one new backer that's been here tonight. Thank you again, Dan, for doing that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And you definitely do not want to miss this campaign because, like I said, this is a first appearance. You're already ready to go ahead and launch. Number 2 is coming out, and then you're already behind there. You're pretty much set to go ahead and start running them fairly consistently so we can get to know who Sapphire Spectre is and get further into the story. Do you have something in mind possibly for something after Sapphire Spectre?
I just kind of want to keep doing this as long as I can. Like maybe I'll even get to the point where like after, you know, dozens and dozens of issues, I'll get to the point where I want to age Sylvia and like see what her later years are like or something like that. But for now, I plan to keep the characters in their early 20s in like that party animal kind of phase. You know what I mean? It's funny because I was like in my late 20s when I came up with the character. So I was still in that phase too. You know what I mean? And now I'm 38 and now I'm like writing these 23-year-old characters and I'm like, oh, now I got to like kind of travel back to the mindset of what it was like when me and my friends were playing wizard staff with like a whole bunch of PBRs like taped together, you know, and like beards around and stuff and breaking things and doing stupid things, you know.
Very cool. Well, we have had a blast having you on here tonight, gotten to know you a little bit better, gotten to know the campaign a little bit better, and we're definitely ready for issue number 2, guaranteed.
Heck yeah, I've got it plotted all the way up to like 12 right now, so
nice.
It's definitely gonna go in a direction. It's gonna seem like one and dones, like for the first couple of them, but you're gonna see some seeds growing into like a larger story.
I really like that. That is interesting to have that much that you've already got embedded into it to go ahead and roll with, so that way we have the consistency as well. Because once you get momentum, it's good to go ahead and keep that forward momentum going and keep that positive momentum going. Because once you lose your momentum, it's hard to re-engage with your audience.
Mm-hmm.
Had some time.
Definitely. And I love like comics that give you a beginning, middle, and end, you know. Like I can never get into that decompressed Brian Michael Bendis Ultimate Spider-Man kind of storytelling where it's like it takes 7 issues just to have the first act happen, you know. I'm like, no man, the first act should be the first 7 pages. So like even in like there's gonna be like a 2-parter coming up, by the way, but like even that one is going to have a sense of completion after the first one by the time you get to the cliffhanger. You know what I mean? So it's like, because like, you know, Kickstarter comics, like they take a while, you know, it's not like it's like on the rack every month or every 3 weeks or something like Spider-Man is or whatever. So it's like, I want to have it so that you can actually enjoy a fully arced story, like in each issue, you know? So
very cool. Well, JT, it has been a blast having you on here, and we've enjoyed having you on to go ahead and get to know you a little bit better and then be a part of the project as well. Mm-hmm. So before you go ahead and take off, you'll go ahead and let us know one last time where we can go ahead and find you and what you have coming up with this and what to expect from Sapphire Spectre.
You can find me on the Facebooks under that name right there, JT Molloy. And the Sapphire Spectre is as well on Facebook. I had like a account for that I just recently kind of just revamped and redid. So I'm starting to use that a lot more. And then I'm on Instagram all the time too. James T. Molloy is that's like my full name. So that's kind of what I go by for there. And I don't use Twitter because it scares me, to be quite honest.
I agree. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and drop you backstage for now, but I will be back there shortly. I'm going to go ahead and do my closing statements. Thank you again for being here, and we look forward to having you on again. And remember, I'll have a seat for you on Unscripted whenever you're ready.
Oh, God, yeah, dude. That was a blast. And so was this. Thank you very much.
Not a problem at all. It's my pleasure. All right. Hey, we had a great one tonight. We had JT Molloy up here, got to know a little bit more about the project and about he himself and what drives him to go ahead and do all this. Now, I always have a closing statement. Tonight's not going to be any different, except for the fact that I usually do it based on my guest and what's going on here. I'm actually going to pull a card and go ahead and say, I'm going to use this one for myself, but not for myself. Again, I want to go ahead and say, this is my birthday wish. Tomorrow is my birthday. And I am really serious about this birthday wish. I want to make sure that as many dreams as can be made possible are happening. So I want to see Kickstarters and Indiegogos and whatnot just blasting all over Facebook. Please, please, please tag me in that so I know what's going on. And then I want to see some forward motion on this and see what's going on. I want to give this a week. I want this to be my birthday week. This is my birthday wish that I have. I don't want things for myself. This is what I want. So if you can help me out with that, I'd certainly appreciate it. It doesn't cost you a thing to use the power of the finger to go ahead and hit that share button and just get some things out there. Even if you can't financially support some things that are out there, trust me, I understand. If that's the case, it doesn't cost anything to go ahead and share it out, because you never know who you're going to reach out to that's going to be like, that's exactly what I've been looking for, and that's what I need to have in my collection. So that being said, we've talked many, many times about the meaning of support on all of my shows and the fact that one pebble can go ahead and create the ripple out in a pond. So you get enough pebbles thrown in that pond, creates the waves of change. Well, let's go ahead and start this week with some waves of change. So until next week, because I will not have any more of my regular shows this week. Tomorrow, I am actually on Philip Russert's show. I am being interviewed. You heard me correctly. I am not the host. Philip Russert wants everybody to know who Demon Phil is. So be afraid, be very afraid, but be on Philip Russert's shows. I will have the links and in post and everything tomorrow morning ready to go. So that way you can go ahead and follow through with that and see me on there. Aside from that, on Thursday, I have a show that I am being told that I am hosting for my birthday celebration, which I don't know about, and there's going to be people there. That's all I know so far. So tomorrow, Philip Russert, Thursday, me. You'll have posts that are going to be showing these things. Follow up on there. Until next time, Demon Phil. Keep it indie, y'all.